Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to go over a couple options on how to have an ultra lightweight camp stove out with you, whether you're camping, hiking, in your bug out bag, in your car, wherever it might be. And the first option to look at is the awesome MSR Pocket Rocket. And as you can see, it's a really small container here. I'm going to hold up a standard lighter just to see. It's a little bit taller than the standard lighter, and in a little compact triangular shape. And let's go ahead and open it up. Just kind of pop the lid off and go ahead. I actually have a P51 in there, a little army military style can opener that packs in there real neat. And here we have the MSR Pocket Rocket. Okay, of course this uses a little canister of fuel. This is a propane butane mix. This is Coleman brand. You should be able to pretty easily find these at Walmart in the camping section, and certainly any of your sporting goods stores will carry them. You can buy them online, but it's usually a lot more expensive to do it that option. But apparently this propane butane mix is a pretty high performance fuel, and it's definitely very compact to carry. Okay, and very lightweight. Now, I'm going to go ahead, all you do with this is screw this on. It's a little harder to do when you got to worry about the camera. But at any rate, just go ahead and kind of make it tight on there. And there you go. These arms fold out. That way you got a larger surface area to hold your pot or pan or can of soup, whatever it may be. But, you know, it does fold up to keep it pretty compact. So all you do to light this is to rotate this handle counterclockwise. You can hear the propane butane mix starting to come out, and just light it up. Now truthfully, it might be pretty hard to see the flame as it's pretty hot, but let me zoom in a little bit. And you just make sure it's tight in there. This is actually pretty freaking high right there. Okay. And the cool thing about this propane, or I don't even know what you call it, a butane propane stove, the MSR Pocket Rocket, is you can actually adjust it down to get a really small flame there, which is cool if you just want to keep something warm. But again, you know, you need to heat up your water real fast. You can just crank this guy on. Now I'm a little interested in how it's going to work today out in this cold. I have heard that sometimes the performance is a little bit less out in the cold weather, and it is acting a little bit funny today, because normally you don't see the orange flame. Let me just make sure that's screwed in tight. Like I said, the canister is pretty cold. Okay. There we go. May just need screwed in a little bit tighter. But nevertheless, the wind's moving around a little bit, but it's a very hot flame, especially when you have something right down there on the base. Now the MSR Pocket Rocket, I've used it, you know, a little bit, not a ton, but I've used it enough to really get a feel for it. I took it out camping with me the past year, and well, in hunting. And I would heat soup up over it, or maybe even grill up some hamburger or whatever you have with you. You bring a little pan, works perfect for that. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Now, the MSR Pocket Rocket will run you around $40. I think I bought this guy on Amazon. It may have been even a little bit more when I purchased it, but it is around $40. Okay, whenever you're done, of course, you can just unscrew this and wait for it to cool down, and then we can put it back in. I'm just going to turn it upside down like that, keep the snow out of the burning holes. But now check this guy out. Okay, this is an unnamed brand pocket rocket, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's labeled on Amazon as a lightweight burning stove or something like that. I'm going to provide a link in the description. The cool thing about this guy is it's only 15 bucks, $14.99 on Amazon. And it's just as good as the MSR Pocket Rocket, if not better. and we're going to check this out soon. Okay, of course the MSR pocket rocket's not in there yet because it's still cooling down, but you can see the difference in the size. This guy's a little bit shorter, and maybe a little bit fatter, but not really. I mean, it's hard to compare because you got the triangle case of the pocket rocket, but actually I would say that this guy is more compact. In fact, it has to be. I mean, it's shorter, and I think that triangle is just kind of a little awkward to stash somewhere. Not that it would be hard, but I mean, this would fit in probably a little bit better into your bag, actually. So let's go ahead and open this up. I don't have a P51 in this, but certainly it would fit down there. This guy looks a little bit different, but pretty much the same concept. To get the burning arms spread out, you just take that little groove and it just spins around like so. So that's pretty cool. And these little arms here move back and out, creating a little bigger surface area for putting something on. So again, you can use your, cook a little can on there, or even a big fruit can that you get at the grocery store, or even a big skillet. Obviously, the larger the skillet, the harder it'll be to balance it on there, but certainly in both cases it's very possible. Now again, this just simply screws on. So I'm going to go ahead and try doing that. Okay, sometimes I do like to make sure these are tight enough. Just like the MSR pocket rocket, you're going to rotate it counterclockwise to get the gas, propane, butane mix coming out. Okay, I was just making sure it was on good. But check this guy out. You don't need a lighter. Look at this guy, a little ignition. Bam, it's on. Which is absolutely an awesome feature. In fact, this thing is so good, I mean, it's usually just one click. In fact, I've never had to use more than one click to get it going. Again, just like that, and you're rocking. Which is a huge feature over the pocket rocket. I mean, if you're out hiking, backpacking, camping, fishing, whatever you're doing, you probably have some type of lighter with you, which is just smart. But if not, it's cool to have a backup feature, a backup way of being able to light that. Okay, let me move these guys out of the way. I don't want those cases to melt. Okay, now check this out. What's the weight difference? The MSR pocket rocket, I went ahead and weighed it on my scale. The MSR pocket rocket is 4.0 ounces. Now, and that's with the case and everything. Stove and case, 4.0 ounces. Okay, and I took the P51 out when I weighed it, so I didn't want to get the weight of the P51 in there. Now, this unnamed brand rocket, stove, or whatever the heck you want to call it, again, it is unnamed. It's probably just Chinese made that's available for a company to stamp their logo on. In fact, you can see a little groove in there where a label would go. But again, it has literally no brand name on it. But again, $14.99, awesome. But the weight of this and the stove, again, 4.0 ounces. The same exact weight as the MSR pocket rocket. And keep in mind that this has the little piezo igniter in there, which is just a little electronic spark. Okay, so again, this weighed 4.0 ounces. Now, I went ahead and switched it over to grams, which offers a little bit better precision. And actually, this guy in the case is 5 grams more. The MSR pocket rocket was 110 grams, whereas the unnamed pocket rocket was 115 grams. Just 5 grams more. But 5 grams is absolutely nothing. I mean, that's less than a 1/10 of an ounce. Because the scale I use goes to a 1/10 of an ounce level of precision, and it couldn't notice a difference between these two stoves. So 5 grams is absolutely nothing. Plus you get the little burner on there as an additional feature. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of turn that off. Oh heck, one last time. Bam, one click, you got it going. And just like the MSR pocket rocket, you can turn this down to get just a little flame out of it. Okay, you can see it's pretty small of a flame. I'm sure you get a little bit lower. I mean, right there. I mean, if you just want to warm your hands up, keep food warm, whatever. And also, you can really crank this guy up to get an awesome flame out of it. Now, it's a little windy out here today, so like the flame's really kind of blowing around. Now, what I'm going to Now, incidentally, again, you know, which one's better quality? In my opinion, they're both equal quality, with actually the unnamed brand technically being a little bit better because it has that piezo ignition system in there. Okay, those arms got, I don't want to touch it. I guess it's not too hot. It's cold enough out here today that it's cooling down pretty quickly, although it still is fairly hot. Ouch. Not a very smart thing to do, but whatever. And I'm actually going to go ahead now and compare them side by side. I'm going to get a little bit of water boiling to kind of give you an idea of how quickly it'll boil water. Okay, so we're going to boil 2 cans of water. This isn't highly scientific. I mean, I just went down to the stream here, filled the cans up with near freezing water to a pretty equal level. I mean, I just went ahead and eyed it up, and I'm hoping that they'll be fairly equal, the amount of water that each can contains. Also, I'm going to have to try to adjust the burning level of each to approximately the same. Honestly, I don't think you're going to see much of a difference. This can over here, though, is actually new. This one's about 2/3 empty, so it has a third of it left in there. One thing I noticed is it seems like the more fuel, or excuse me, the more full the can is of fuel, the better it burns. So again, you know, we're kind of having a lot of variables here, but again, just give you an idea. This water is near freezing, by the way, and it was kind of weird when I was pouring one can into the other to try to even them out. A little layer of ice formed on the top, so mixing it up a little bit seemed to have created a little bit of ice, so it is near freezing. Now these cans are pretty small, so I'm going to have to go ahead and angle this in a little bit better. Make a little smaller area. Now, one thing I do like about this burner is the MSR pocket rocket, that is. I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit if I can. Is that these little arms are angled in such a way that I think it helps to keep something on there like a can a little bit better. Not that it makes a lot of difference, but it is nevertheless pretty cool. Because even on this, the can actually fits pretty well. They both have these little notches in that the edges of a can just sink down in there, and they stay really good. You'll still want a level cooking surface, but now let me light these up. Again, this is easier. There we go. I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw these on, see what happens. I'm trying to keep the burner about the same, and I don't really know if I'm doing a good job at that. So again, if one starts to boil quicker than the other, don't take that don't value it as too much importance, because I don't think that it means a lot, because there's enough variables in here. Okay. Now, okay, you can kind of see the water in there starting to heat up. And I know that at this point it's not a very interesting video, but I am going to keep it rolling because I don't have any type of timing device with me to tell you, well, I'll start to boil in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Certainly I'll just probably keep it as is in the video. Maybe I'll end up cutting it out, I don't know. But at least for my reference, I can let the video run to know how long it did take. There's not a huge amount of water in here. Obviously these cans hold 12 ounces and it's not even to the top, so there's probably, I don't know, 7 ounces in there, something like that. I'm already starting to see bubbles form. It's somewhere near equal, I don't know. The other thing to note is in the MSR Pocket Rocket, the can's actually higher up from the base than what the unnamed brand is. So, and whether that's good or not, I don't know. Actually, I'd probably rather have the can a little bit closer down to the base. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but those propane butane cans that I got from Walmart, I think they're on somewhere about $4.50 a piece. It's been a while since I purchased one. And in fact, I'm going to have to get a few more for an upcoming camping trip here in January. that I'm going to take these guys along, one or the other. I'll probably end up taking the unnamed brand out just because I haven't used it as much. But again, as far as which do I prefer better, they're pretty equal, but I'm going to have to go with the unnamed brand one because not only does it have that piezo ignition system, you know, one-click light, it's cheaper. $14.99 compared to $40. That's awesome. I mean, you can get doggone near 3 of the unnamed brand, the orange one, for the same price as one MSR pocket rocket. So that's pretty cool. And again, I am going to provide a link for the unnamed brand on Amazon. As far as I know, Amazon's the only place to get it. The trouble with finding it on another site is it has no brand name, so I don't know how the heck you'd really even search for it. Okay, again, I don't know, looks like they're about equal boiling. Who knows? This guy might even be turned down a little too much, I don't know. It's about 24 degrees out here right now, to give you an idea. 24 degrees Fahrenheit, snowing a little bit. So we got fairly cool temperatures out here. So that's going to make a difference. You're going to notice that during the summer, during warm weathers, inside, that this is going to burn a lot faster. It'll boil a lot faster, cook a lot faster. And as well as the other applications that I've mentioned, to carry one of these with you, you can keep it in the house even if your power goes out and you have no other way of heating up food. You could use one of these. And who knows, I mean, again, you could buy 2 of the unnamed brands for $30 and go ahead and have 2 burners at the same time. You'd have to have 2 fuel canisters, but that way you could cook up your meat and have a side of vegetables cooking all at the same time, or a cup of coffee, whatever it may be. As small as they are, it's just so convenient to take with you. This January, again, we're going camping for 2-3 days, and I'm going to take at least one of these with me with 1 canister just to be able to cook something. Obviously, we'd have a fire, but one of these guys can be a little bit more convenient, you know, because depending on what you have going on, if you have a big roaring fire, it may be a little harder to cook on it, as putting things in and out are a little bit tricky. So, and plus, if you, for some reason we can't get a fire going, which is probably going to be unlikely, I at least have a way of warming up my hands or to cook some food. But yeah, definitely, I'd grab up a few of these unnamed brand. You know, again, keep a bug out bag, camping bag, fishing bag, car, home, wherever you might need it. Give it as a gift, who knows? Although Christmas is just past, but maybe a birthday's coming up. Okay, it looks like the Sprite can here is starting to boil. You know, is it up higher than what the Coke can is? I don't know, it might be. But again, I still like the fact that you're able to get the can or whatever your cooking device is closer to the base of that flame. That's pretty nice. Plus, keep in mind again, this can is actually full, whereas this is only a third full. You know, that does make a little bit difference in performance. Whoops. I may have moved that the wrong way. And I just adjusted it, but okay, the Sprite can is definitely boiling now. We'll go ahead and you can see Coke can is a little bit behind, but again, I mean, if I would have probably given the full can to the MSR pocket rocket, I think it would have burned a little bit quicker. But still, you know, being closer to the base, I think helps a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this off. Okay, it's boiling, we know that. The problem right now is, since it is higher up from the base, the wind is just kind of pushing the heat away a little bit. I don't know how many minutes it took for that to boil, around 5 I think maybe. I'll probably annotate it with the time, and I'll end up probably just throwing all this video in there, even if it's a little bit boring because of my random comments. Who knows, they might be useful. Let's see if I take that off. Okay. Now what I'm going to do real quick is switch this MSR pocket rocket over to a fresh can, because I feel that we're not giving it justice, being that the can is a lot closer to being empty. Let's turn it upside down, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and because you can even hear the difference of the fuel coming out on the fresh can. So the MSR pocket rocket was definitely at a disadvantage. Now if I can find my lighter. Oh great, let me turn it off for a minute. That way I don't have a big face full of flame whenever I do find my lighter and light it. Okay, again, you can tell how that piezo ignition system on the unnamed brand is a lot nicer. Okay. There we go. Okay, again, there's no doubt in my mind that since the can was closer to being empty, it took longer for that can to boil. Now, I'm going to go back to saying that since, let me rotate this so you can see a little bit better. Since that can is so high up from the base, that wind's really affecting it. So to be honest with you, even with its burning capability, I'm leaning towards the unnamed brand as being maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit more efficient. Although they're both pretty close, so I really don't think you're going to see much difference in performance. I'm still waiting on that water to boil. Going to move that out of the way. Remember, again, that's the MSR pocket rocket that we're now watching. But it's cool to be able to check out and test different equipment. But I'm definitely, if I'm only taking one this camping trip, I'm going to stick with the unnamed brand. I like it. $14.99. Again, I'll provide a link, and you guys, I'll tell you what, buy them up. After I ordered mine, it actually went out of stock, and I wasn't sure if they were able to get any more in. So I figured, well, there's no sense doing a video on it if I can't get any more in. But fortunately, they did get more in. Okay, of course, I'm just fitting that right back in. It's cooled down now. Snap the lid back on place. Drop the P51 in there beforehand, if you have. They're good to go. Okay, the water's definitely boiling now, as you can see. So on a fresh can of fuel, whoops, fogged the camera up, but a fresh can of fuel, it'll definitely boil quicker. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope this helps you guys out. Have a good day.